Welcome to our latest project analysis series.
I'm Gina.
I'm Eric.
I'm Mervyn, and together we are
Jay. Okay, so today we're actually going to be talking about upcoming project that is very interesting. Have you guys heard of Robertson Opus?
yes.
So if you have been following the market recently, you do know that the upcoming second half of the year, we do have a number of launches upcoming. But this is actually one of the most interesting project itself because it is 999 years in lease. Robertson Opus will actually kick off the second half of the year in terms of the launches in Singapore. In the second half of the year, Robertson Opus will be the first of many launches to happen in the core central region of Singapore. So of course, today the analysis, the main focus will be Robertson Opus. So this is an area I believe many of us will actually remember. For me, myself, actually, I went there with my friends when I was younger to have drinks and things like that. What about you guys?
For myself, I like to go there, for lunch or brunch. Then you see people bring their dog, their coco, and just sampu there. Very nice. It's a very chill feeling lah.
Nice. For me, River Valley is where I grew up as a child. I spent years staying at where the location of 8 at St. Thomas currently is.
I think the whole area is really a lifestyle kind of area, which is the Robertson Quay. I believe some of you all remember Kampai, the drinking and wine connection as such. So in terms of this, the developers itself are the same, but they are actually redeveloping the whole entire area. So in terms for location itself, it is situated, the nearest MRT is Fort Canning MRT, which is within walking distance.
It's around 6 to 7 minutes.
Yes, that's correct.
Yes.
So, I mean, despite its very central location, you will realize that the individual units right over there don't really have much view. So that is something you really have to take note of because of the surrounding development. Okay, but for 999 years owners around there, view is really not much of a primary factor in terms of unit selection. Okay, however, the overall site and the location are considered very well connected. Okay, so this location is actually located to a lot of offices as well as a lot of lifestyle area in the vicinity. It is offering a distinct residential ambience, making it ideal really for own stay. So Mervyn, who are the developers for Robertson Opus?
Okay, so for this project itself, the developers Fraser and Sekisui themselves, they are the current owner of the place, of the entire 999 site, and then they are undertaking the whole complete redevelopment themselves. So it's a redevelopment of the existing site, not a government land sale, and therefore harmonization is not in play for this particular launch.
Right. So what about, is there any commercial component to it? Because previously there are a lot of commercial shops.
Yes, I do believe that the developer would want to retain the vibe as well as much, and it's not to affect too much about adding more residential to that place. So concern regarding the past development, like for example King Albert Park, where commercial components struggle to have anchor tenants and due to poor planning, and this time it's good because Fraser, they are known and they are good for making shopping malls. To our understanding, they are not looking to sell any of the commercial shops. So we believe that they'll be maintaining and also get the correct tenant to create the brands, so that it overall bring out the whole aesthetic, the whole atasness, you call it. So they have the control over the commercial tenants, which is quite good and it's a positive thing to maintain the area's appeal.
I think Fraser is one that you can rely on to get a good tenant mix, control the kind of atmosphere, the crowd that they want to bring into the place.
Yes, because I think one of the concern is that you do not want to be sold to individual owners, and then tomorrow they just have
9 agencies.
Yeah, agencies. They have different kinds of. Not say that having all these agencies is wrong, but it's just that the team is japalan everywhere.
Yes.
Right, you don't get a team in that place, so that may affect your rental yield. Your yield may affect your capital appreciation.
So what about the looks and the design of the upcoming Robertson Opus? How do you think it's gonna look like?
So the newer condos in River Valley, right, are in multi-modern avenue. They feature a bit more like a darker tone, so a bit slick and modern appearance, relatively low-rise design. We believe that Robertson Opus will stand out as well because it gives that luxury, that new edge of appearance.
Yes.
It's sort of a warm tone to it, but yet modern and refreshing.
Yes. Correct.
So I believe from the screen you can actually see this is how Robertson Opus is gonna look like, with the residential on the top area as well as the commercial on the first floor. So in terms of the unit mix, can you share a little bit in terms of the project information? Actually, for Robertson Opus, right, we have shared quite a number of information, but what is the project info? How many units are there? the type of bedroom types. Can you share with me a little bit more?
Sure. So this project has 348 units. To me, I think this is a perfect size. Not too big, not too small. You know, sometimes too small, you worry about whether there be volatility or not, whether there be volume or not, right? When it's too big, it's like, you know, then I take one leaf down. Is it very crowded or not? Correct. So 348 units, perfect for me. Unit types include a suite and 1 bedroom, 2 bedrooms, 3 bedrooms, and 4 bedrooms. The larger units are 3 and 4, which in this area as well considered as low supply. And the expected TOP, temporary occupation permit, is 2030 with a possibility of an earlier completion. And it's a 999-year leasehold property in District 9 with an estimator of 26 retail units below. Right. So Gina, could you share a bit more about the unit mix breakdown of each type? How many units are there?
Sure. So what do you think about with 348 units, right? And then it's in Robertson area. What do you think could a potential unit mix be?
This area, I'm thinking investors. A little bit here and there for old stay, especially if you're looking for that kind of lifestyle within Robertson Quay itself. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So with the suites and the 1-bedder, you have a total of 80 units. The 2-bedroom units, a total of 150. 3-bedroom flexi has got 45 units. The bigger 3-bedroom, okay, why I separate the 3-bedroom, later we'll know. The bigger 3-bedroom is about 64 units, and the 4-bedroom has a very, very low supply of 9 units only. Okay, so if you take the small units, right, like say from suites, 1 bed, 2 bed, we have a total adding up of about 65% of the entire development. Now, which also means, like I said, the 3 and the 4 bedrooms very low in supply in this development. Now, with such a unit mix as Eric and Mervyn has also shared earlier, it's a very strong potential for single professionals coming in as tenants or couples who are working in the CBD coming in to stay. Now, in River Valley area, a lot more expats residing in the area, but I also can see some locals who would like that, you know, that lifestyle.
Yeah, yes.
After work, downstairs I drink, and then after I just need to slowly stroll back home, you know, don't have to drive home, don't have to risk our driver's license points.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah, so I can also see some locals coming in to stay in the area. So tenant demand in River Valley, I would say generally good, which is also why if you look at, this developer is going for a good 65% of potential tenants. Alright, block configuration. Let's look at the development. This is the site plan itself. We have got blocks 7, 9, 11, 13, 15, with 17 being the pool area. Right, block 7, 11, and 13 houses the 2 and the 3 bedders. Okay, the block 9 has only 4 units per level, and it houses the biggest 3-bedroom and the 4-bedroom. The special mention will go to block 15.
Why?
Okay, so block 15 houses the suites, the 1-bedrooms, and 1 layout of the 2-bedroom. Okay, now most importantly, and please remember this, block 15 feature high ceiling of 3.225 meters.
Actually, that's very rare these days, you know.
Very rare.
Very, very
only in block 15. Okay, so usually the better specs, right? You know, developers tend to put into the 4-bedroom, the one that they will sort of earn more money in the sales. They give it the better specs. But in this development, I thought this developer is rather smart, because you know, with suites and 1-bedder, it feels a bit small, right? So when the ceiling is high, it's less claustrophobic.
Correct.
It has a better experience of staying in there. That's what we want you to remember. Block 15 being the high ceiling height, the rest regular ceiling height, and block 9 being the one that houses the 3 and the 4 bedders, right?
Okay, so on to the finishing itself. So for Robertson Opus, very interestingly, developer has actually segregated into 3 different collections, what we call it. So the first collection is actually called Premier Collection, which is also the suite, the 1-bedroom and above. Okay, so we actually have that high ceiling of 3.225. However, if we zoom in a little bit, we can see that this is the living and dining, the large format tiles itself. One good thing about this large format tiles, the size is actually 1004 by 1004 itself. So when we step into a 1-bedroom unit or even a suite, you can really see the grout lining. So it actually enhances the view of the entire place itself, making it feels more spacious. I think this is a very smart move by the developer, enhancing the floor tiles as well as increasing the ceiling height. But of course, this is only applicable for block 15 itself. Okay, so now on to the next collection that we have is what we call the luxury collection. Over here, you do realize that the living and dining, the floor tile is a little bit different tone. Okay, so when we compare this to the Premier collection is a little bit more whitish, but I mean, we have seen the show flag, that tiles a little bit easier to get stained. So the third one is actually the Legacy collection, which what Gina mentioned earlier, point block itself, the 4 units, block 9. So this is actually for block 9, where we have over here polished marble, okay, but it's a standard size, and then of course full marble flooring. In nowadays development, I think CCR, a lot of homestay buyers will really appreciate the fact that full marble flooring, you know, when we walk into the home in this kind of weather in Singapore, we are actually getting a more cooling floor to actually walk on.
Can I check? So you're saying that the Premier and Legacy has 1400 mm tiles, but Luxury does not, because it's more marble.
So Premier, we actually have 1004, but it's actually not marble.
Yes.
So the easiest way to think of it is only Luxury have marble.
Okay.
So 3 different tiers: Premier, Luxury, and Legacy. The collection that we have in Robertson Opus will be split into 3 different collections. The first collection being the Premier, and the Luxury is the second. The third will actually be the Legacy, where all the bigger bedrooms will have. The main differences that we will see, right? The Premier and the Luxury will have large format tiles, which is 1.4 meters by 1.4 meters. However, when we go towards the Legacy collection, it will be a full marble. So that's the main difference in terms of the living room flooring that we will see.
But the marble one is not a 1.4 meter tiles, right?
No, it is not. So it's actually 600 cm by 600 cm. So I can zoom in a little bit over here.
Yeah, the good thing with the 1.4 meter, which is the 1400 meter tiles, when you see lesser grout lines, the floor just feels bigger immediately.
Definitely. So with Premier itself, I think I mentioned earlier, with the high ceiling, now the bigger floor tiles itself, it will enhances the whole spaciousness of the layout itself. So moving on, we will be talking a little bit more in terms of diving deep into the layout, and we will actually share with you what is our top choices and how can we really consider in terms of the layout. So Mervyn, what are the layouts that you'll be sharing with us today?
Right, so now I'll touch on the 1-bedder and also the suite itself. So for suite, which I think we also can say that, look at the floor plan, it does look like 1-bedder. So we'll be categorizing them in the same category. But for suite, is 431 square feet, 2 layout type with minor differences. One is you could see there's a protruding wall corner for one of them, right? And all suites are external facing in block 15, offering the 3.225 meters in height. So as Gina was mentioning just now, if the size of the room is not the biggest, but they give it back in terms of the height of the room itself, I feel that is really a good compensation in that sense.
Especially
right?
for short people.
Special, yes, really a special unit itself. Okay, and for 1-bedder, which is slightly larger than suite, is a 495 square feet, and all 1-bedroom units are internal facing, which means to say that it's facing the pool direction. And the price range I will believe that is slightly higher per square feet than the suite, but we only know on the day itself. But views are equally limited for both internal and external facing for this 1-bedder and also for the suite as well.
So for the 1-bedder, remember earlier when we mentioned about the floor tile size itself. So when we hit into the unit itself over here, when I went to the show flat, actually I can't really find the graph line itself. So it feels like this entire piece, right,
It's already one piece of floor at it.
yes. So the only, I would say, downside to it is actually the color of it is easily stained.
So looking at it, right, we believe that suites are generally safer entry price. Why so? Because on our next share itself,
Mervyn, can I just share a bit about this? So the difference between the suites and the 1-bedroom, right? It's this wall here. So if you look at the suites, the master and the living is sort of side by side, whereas the 1-bedder, you have an extra wall that is separating bedroom and the living room. So there are some people who prefers to have that bedroom, whereas there are some who just like the open concept. I don't matter, you know, even if I guess over, it's fine. So a little bit of difference in here. I believe with the size difference, there will be price difference as well.
definitely. So for the suite itself, you'll note it's a little bit like the typical studio, but just that the living and and the bedroom is a bit flipped over lah. So you start to see that instead of the bedroom is near the window, now you see the bedroom is in the middle of the room, and then you have the living on the corner itself, which is a very interesting design for a suite. Okay, so now let's talk about supply, because we believe that supply and demand is important in our decision whether this unit type can buy or not, right? So there are concerns that Zion, Lentor area, there's going to have a lot of units available, then there's going to be a lot of supply in that particular area, then rental how? So let's look into Marina Bay area. From our research, we can see that 36% of that area is one bedder. Correct, and biometrics is considered quite high in particular area, right? So with that logic, if the demand is not strong enough, can we say that maybe the rental is going to be quite weak? Now for the next one, where you see compare with River Valley, the percentage is 1/2%. Now let's look at River Valley itself, right? Consolidating all the one bedder in River Valley, and we see there's only 12% of one bedder. So with that logic, can we say that the rental price should be quite higher because the supply not enough, correct?
Going by that logic.
Yes. So now let's look at the combined research result itself. Do you see that the yield for a 36% one bedder area is actually higher than River Valley? Now, why would this happen? Do you all know?
I really think in terms of when we look at rental yield, right, Marina is a place whereby the demand is very high. So they will also build higher supply. But whereas for River Valley itself, to be honest, this area with 12% of supply, but the rental demand for one bedroom is not that high. So it doesn't mean that your supply is low, you will naturally get a higher rental yield.
Okay, so for the Marina Bay instances, right, what happened is that the demand is able to absorb the entire supply that is in the market, and therefore you can see that the asking price for the rental is higher by a big margin compared to River Valley, where you think that supply not a lot for River Valley, but why is the rent not as good? Maybe because the demand is not as strong enough. So if you want to buy one bedder in this area, this is one of the consideration points as well. If you're buying for investment and for rental, for one bedder, this is how we feel about it. So just now I also did mention that going forward, there will be also a few projects that's coming out in Zion. There are 4 plots of residential, 2 of them is already announced already. And we'll do more and more videos on that as well to cover these new projects in that area, which we believe there are some unit types, there are some projects why can buy, why that one is maybe not as good or this one is even better. Do follow us and we'll share more later.
But I think one of the main concerns why this area is something that can be considered, because there are so much supply. Developer also know that there are a lot of units coming in. I believe their pricing will be very competitive because so many supply, there are only a certain amount of buyers out there.
Definitely.
So my question, right? Just now we talked about Marina area with a high supply,
Yes.
and a high demand. There are 4 plots coming up, quite pretty near to Robertson Opus. Does it drive the supply up as well?
So as you mentioned just now, Zion is going to have a few plots of new launch coming out, right?
Yes, that's for sure. So as we can see, right, there are in the purplish blue plots, there are 4 already, with the orange one also upcoming, right? So for now, we know there are 4 plots. There are 2 already confirmed bought in that sense. If you can see in the map, right, it is actually pretty close to where Robertson Opus is. Will this affect our demand? So supply in the area potentially will go up with one bedders. What about the demand? Will it water down the demand of tenants coming to this
I
space?
feel it's a little bit of different product also. One is number 999, right? The other one is 999.
Correct. So usually 999 buyers and 999 buyers are looking at different products, right? They price sensitive lah. And with Robertson Opus, it's about lifestyle. It's about the experience. It will be slightly different. However, for one bedroom, my concern is that one bedroom buyers are mainly investors.
Correct. Yeah.
Right? Investors wants to look at ROI and all these things, which of course Mervyn already addressed earlier. Okay, so our next few slides, we will help you to rationalize out what our thoughts are as to if we were to put our money in this.
Yeah.
What do we go for?
Yeah. If we are considering either the suite or the one bedroom.
Definitely.
What do we go for?
Okay, so looking at these 2 layouts, this is our top choices. If you can choose the suite, more preferred than the one bedder, because although we just have one more, the wall for the one bedder, is it worth paying the additional $230,000 for the additional 65 square feet? Yes, maybe you have more privacy, but then for the suite as well, your kitchen is a bit wider as well, so you feel more spacious in that area. So these 2 are top choices for one bedder, but we prefer suite lah.
At the end of the day, the suite and a one bedroom, that 200 plus thousand just for an extra wall, does it make sense or not? I mean, leave it to you to decide.
Yes,
Okay?
Because investors look at ROI, remember that.
correct.
So, I mean, looking at this itself, we do have, when we addressed earlier the upcoming supply.
So for suite over here, we're looking at 1.379, assuming that it's 3002 PSF, correct? And then this one does not have any bedrooms. This is one living space altogether. And we just mentioned that River Green is coming out soon, right? I'm not so sure when. And then we know the size already, right? It's at 527 square feet. 2-bedder, 527, 2,800 PSF, assuming that this range. And then how much is it if this quantum? 1.475.
Yes, and we're looking at 2.8 PSF because it's a 99 leasehold, not a 999 or a freehold.
Correct.
Yeah,
So
so it's about 1.475
yes.
for a 2-bed versus 1.379 for a 1-bed.
Correct. So a $96,000 more premium you pay for a proper 2-bedroom. Now, definitely I would say that you'll get a better rent for this kind of layout versus her suite, right? So your decision, see what makes sense for you.
From here, we can see that because the upcoming plot of land, it is also fairly new. But with the same similar quantum, you can actually get a 2-bedroom instead of a suite.
And it's also pretty near MRT, right? Like
alright.
a different MRT, but pretty near an MRT in a mall as well.
Right.
But I think at the end of the day, it's really two different products. One is really for lifestyle, legacy. Another one, it's a different product at the end of the day.
Definitely. You don't get to the river, walk around in a very beautiful
chillax
environment
river.
and Zion area. So each to its own, it has its own pros and cons.
However, like I also mentioned earlier, for investors, people who are looking at ROI, it's money sensitive. Money sensitive in the sense of how much comes back to me. So yeah, I think quite unanimously our choice is the suites. Okay, so let's get to 2-bedrooms. A 2-bedroom in Opus have got many layouts actually. The good thing is they're all 2-bed, 2-bath, and I think it's to do with the 999, right? It's like people want to stay in.
Yeah.
Don't really want to have 1 2-bed and 1 bath. All are 2-bed, 2-bath, and 1 2+ study. Right. So now we look at the smallest 2-bedder. The smallest 2-bedder is a 689 square feet. It is non-PPVC, so all these walls can be removed if you want an even larger space. Okay, so being the smallest, it is a dumbbell layout. The other dumbbell layout amongst the 2-bedder, it's the 2-bed plus study, which we will look at later. Now, when this development goes on a resale market, I feel that people will remember this dumbbell layout best because compared to other classic layout, the bedroom corner type of layout, people after viewing a few units will remember, oh, that one that I go in, the living room is big, then the bedrooms are at the side. So it's sort of a bit more impressionable when it comes to the resale market, right? The other thing really liked about this is that the kitchen is enclosable. Okay, so if you want to, you can put in a door over here. This area here, it's a glass at the kitchen area, allows more lighting to come in to the kitchen, make it brighter, right? Now, the other layout here, the next biggest is 710. A 710 layout, as we move on the slides, right, you will see that there's little green spots here. So this one will have a window at the master bath area, and this is what we call a classic layout lah. All the bedrooms tucked at one corner.
I think it's quite rare to see master bathroom to have a window in nowadays.
Right? You see more in 3-bed.
So in this layout, you can see that the kitchenette is along the walkway. But if you compare this layout and this layout, right, although this size is only 689 and this is 710, this layout feels a bit bigger. So that will be what you will feel. Although smaller size, it does feels a bit bigger.
I think because it's dumbbell, I think it's more efficient. And on top of it, the kitchen also has that glass panel. I think it enhances your view as well as the brightness of the
It just
space.
feels bigger in that sense. The other thing we also want to remind is that this is a non-harmonized project because it is not a government land sales. Neither is it an en bloc.
Yep.
It is going to be redeveloped by the owners of Robertson Opus. Okay, so it's very rare to have a rebuild, but that also means it's a non-harmonized. And with non-harmonized, things like the AC latched, they are all included in the floor size. Right, let's go to the next two layouts. This is a layout that I really like personally. Okay, so this is a 721 layout. In fact, for the next 4 layouts that you see are all 721. Okay, but don't worry, I will highlight to you what to remember. Again, you look at all these green places here. These are all windows. In the master bath window, in the common bath window, in the kitchen. Windows will mean better ventilation, better natural lighting coming into your unit, right? And the other thing, look at this part here. We've indicated it's a premier collection. In the premier collection, then it means that it is in block 15. And if you remember earlier, we said that block 15 is the block with the 3.225 meter ceiling height. So it gives it a better feel, a better experience, doesn't feel as claustrophobic. So that is B1, and then we're comparing this with B4. Now B1 has a smaller kitchen, B4 has a slightly bigger kitchen. Oh, the other thing, B1 it's at the corner of this block 15. A B4 is facing the swimming pool. Why I highlight a red color here, it's because the windows are floor to ceiling, but basically where it's an aircon ledge area, the lower ceiling are frosted. Okay, so you sort of can see the aircon and cause a bit of peekaboo. Some people like it, some people don't. Okay, so we just want to highlight it over here. Next thing we're going to look at again is also 721. Why I got so many 721? I also don't know, but they are all a little bit different. Okay, so now these two, they have kitchenette as well. You can see they are open kitchen. It sort of have a little bit more space, but I don't know, it feels weird if I enclose this and then where do I put my dining here? But up to you, your personal preference. Some people like me don't mind where my kitchen is, right? But the good thing with this layout is, again, if you see all these green spots, right? There is a window at the master bath, window at the common bath, and a window at the entrance foyer. I personally think plays a part, so when you open the door, there is lights coming in so that this area is not dark, right? This B6 here, it's looking outwards, that it will be looking at UE Square, UE Square residence. Likewise this, okay? So that is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 721 layout. Right, so this next one we are showing again 689, which is the first one that we showed about the dumbbell layout. Now we also have a study. So this is a 2-bed plus study. Exact same layout actually, except with the study, right? So also dumbbell, also got no windows same. Now the thing is, there is a difference of now 54 square feet times estimate of 3,300 square feet PSF. We are looking at 178,000 more for a study. Does it make sense to you?
Not really. It's a bit hard if you're going by that. I think because of the PSF that we are looking towards. And yes, I mean, a study could be a good storage area, but does it really make sense to just get? And one thing to note is, for B2 and B7, the 689 and 743 square feet, both of them have similar view with the pool view.
Yes.
Yeah.
However, B7S, the study, it's here. So they actually have the longest internal view, right? So it's all like a bit more breathable. When you sit at the balcony, lip out, you want to look out, you have a longer view before you see somebody else.
Right.
Okay, I think we leave it for you to decide whether you need that study or not. I mean, some people work from home, they may realize that, actually that space is important for me. Some people feel, nah, I don't need it. So, right, I think we have come to asking you guys about which would you buy again. Personally, I will get B1 because I'm the type of person who I need to open all my windows. I need my house bright. So you see, imagine my balcony open, this bedroom open. Here also I can open. I need to ventilate the toilets. Okay, so but I think in a resale unit, right, these are things that will make a difference as well. Okay, because it's ventilation, it is lighting, and remember B1 is at block 15, 3.225 meter ceiling height. So for me, I will go for this.
Definitely.
For a B1. Right, so our second option here will be B2 at 689, which is the dumbbell layout. So if we are assuming this at 3250, and why we do this at 3250 and not 33,000, it's because B1 at 3.225 ceiling height, we expect developer to give it a little bit more of a premium, right? So if we look at the price difference of about 140k, which would you buy? Would you choose to buy B2 because it's 140k cheaper, or would you choose to buy B1, which is 140k more, but it's got better ventilation, better lightings? It's corner unit as well and 3.225 meters in. So this is how I come to look at this. So how I will make my selection is this. I call it sort of a tipping point, right? So I agree with you guys. I will pay the 140k more to buy the B1 unit just because personally I love more windy and more ventilation.
Yeah.
Let's look at this tipping point. Assuming the B2, which is this dumbbell layout, okay, so assuming this remains at 2.239 at 3250 PSF, and B1 starts from 3003 at this amount, okay? So we have 140k difference. Just now we already agreed that we will all pay this amount to buy B1,
Yes.
right? You know, the next B1 unit comes up to about 3350 PSF. The difference is now 176,100. Will you still go for B1?
I think can accept. I think one of the main reasons why I can accept is because B1 at the end of the day, resale buyers when I will sell it in the future will definitely consider all these factors.
Yep.
And natural ventilated windows in the toilet is really something that is very rare in the market.
Yes.
So I will really still accept.
You know what? One of the things for me why ventilation in the toilet is important is because I've seen mold in the toilet.
Oh,
But I
I've
cannot-
seen those cases before as well. I believe that, attribute of the house facing the windows, so these attributes are something that you really cannot change. The layout facing comes with the house. So at the end of the day is how much you think this is worth up to the point that you think it's a balance of everything like
Okay, let's say if it goes up to 3,375, which is already 125 PSF more, the price difference is now 194,125.
It really depends maybe on the floor level that is available for me to choose also.
Yes.
But if it goes to that, I really consider very high.
Yeah, I think if it's a higher level at this price, maybe I'll still go for it. But
Which
what
is?
if we start off B1 at 3,250 and start B2 at also 3,250? Which will you go for?
Of course.
C1.
Correct. Okay,
that's
so
good.
important.
Yeah.
We see our tipping point here at 125 PSF more, slightly less than 200k. Okay, that is at about our limits. Okay, anything beyond that, maybe it's time to consider back the B2.
Yeah, I don't think it really makes sense you pay such a high premium just for all the windows. Despite it being something that you cannot change, it will affect your profitability in
Yes.
future, definitely.
Yeah,
Right.
that's for sure. Okay, so this is what we're looking out, and maybe you can share with us what's your tipping point, because everyone's tipping point is slightly different, right?
Right.
If you're buying for own stay, your tipping point may be different. If you're buying for investment, again, the tipping point is pretty much different. Right. That said, we have said we would like B1. The next thing is B2. What about River Green? Remember earlier we said River Green is coming up. River Green has 2-beders. Are we gonna compare River Green's 2-bedder to Opus's 2-bedder?
If buyers are considering this area, they definitely will consider 3-bedroom. Yet, if they are considering Opus, right, they will definitely take a look at River Green, then they realize 3-bedroom.
Okay, so earlier we talked about River Green, right? When we look at 1-bedder, the potential of this 1-bedder buyers going for River Green's 2-bedder.
Yeah.
Right, so with the 2-bedders, do you think that earlier we talked about 1-bedder, we said that the 1-bedder buyers are also going to consider River Green's 2-bedder?
Yeah, correct.
Right? Right now, do you think the 2-bed buyers at Opus is also going to consider River Green's 2-bedder?
I think with that logic, we'll go with 3-bedder also.
3-bedder.
3-bedder
So
will
up it.
it makes
Okay, so-
checks, right?
That's what I was thinking also. I don't think Opus 2-bedder will be looking at River Green 2-bedder, but rather the 3-bedder at River Green is 786 square feet. Look at the price. Okay, again, we are using 2,800 PSF for River Green because it is a 99 leasehold,
Right.
right? So if we can buy it at 2.2 million for a River Green compact 3-bedder versus spending 2.239 million for Opus 2-bedder, do you really think they will buy this?
I think
Like,
that is
cheaper, right?
yeah.
Cheaper, but of course, different product.
Correct. So with Opus at 999 and River Green at 99 leasehold, I personally feel there's a different buyer, a different crowd.
Different pool of buyer at the end of the day, different profile. So for that itself, whether you want to pay over 150,000 but you're getting an extra bedroom, that is something that y'all should take note of when y'all are considering to buy in this area itself.
I personally feel the River Green compact 3-bedders are people who probably a bit more price sensitive. just about nice there, but hey, let's get one more bedroom. Right? So they will go for that. Where else, again, earlier we also talked about the 2 beds at Opus. Likely, there is a possible percentage of people who buy for homestay.
Definitely,
Yeah.
for sure.
So personally, I'm not worried about this as a competitor for the 2
Correct.
beds.
Actually, the beautiful part about this is that, right, both complement each other. Like, if you want lifestyle, you want that kind of space, you don't want 3 rooms in this space, you want only 2 rooms, right, you go for Opus, right? If you want utility, you want to have a certain quantum within your budget, you can go for River Green. And they're all in the same vicinity. So that's the beautiful part of it. So 3-bedders, we have quite a few types of house. So we start with the 2 smallest one, which is the C1S and C2S, 926 square feet and 980 square feet. Now, if you see this one itself, what you notice is that, of course, you see the windows over here, right? It's been highlighted to the green, same as well, both pretty much the same. But the main difference that you see is there is one more extra balcony in there. Okay, so now we're talking about the 3-bedders, right? And there's quite a few layouts. Let's talk about the smallest ones, which is a 926 square feet and 980 square feet over here. Okay, these 2. And both are 9 units only, so there isn't many of it. You look at it, they are inverted and the layouts are pretty much the same. You know, the windows over here, they have windows as well, pretty much the same, except the windows position is a bit different. So now you notice, why is this 980, why is this 960? Do you see that the master bedroom has no balcony? So to me, if you think that the balcony in the room is important, that is like, for example, you have maybe like sea view or something, right?
Yes.
Alright, then maybe worth to pay the additional 54 square feet for that balcony that is over here.
Where is this located? What can we see from the master bedroom balcony?
Okay, from here you can actually see the internal, both are all internal facing, where it's the pool view lah. So if you think that you like pool view, then definitely you should consider a 980 square feet, where you can get dual view, one balcony, one from living. But if you think that actually the living room is enough already, right?
I think another good thing about the 980 square feet, right, the additional balcony that is in the master bedroom itself, there are some people who tell me that, hey, you know, why not put a zip track? It expands the whole space of the master bedroom to make it a light drop. So I think something about the 980 square feet that this master bedroom balcony actually helps in, right, is usually people can do up a zip track and expands the whole master bedroom to make it as though like extra working space or even the place for reading, you know. So this is something that I think is very interesting and is quite rare in the market currently, actually.
Yeah, actually Eric already solved what I was thinking, because I was looking at where it's located. Imagine my master bedroom balcony, somebody on my left, but then you see where the location of it. That's the block
13, which is 21, maybe 21 can see.
Yeah. So I'm like, do I really want that extra balcony there? Privacy.
Correct, you put maybe a study table here also if you want, and a very nice light over here.
You can even be your work from home office.
Exactly, I've seen people done that before. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So for people who like 2 balconies, go for it. If not, maybe just the
That's right. And then you can also see that this is also have a flexi space over here. So if you want to make a dining bigger, to have a landscape dining area, you can also bring down this wall.
Perfect for people who host.
But if you don't want, you can also build a door here and then make it into a room, and then the dining space is still sufficient for 6 to 7 or 8 people as well.
Yep.
Right? No problem. Alright. So now let's move on to the bigger layout, which is a 1012 square feet, 1023 and 1044. And the main difference of this one, if you can see, is more of the foyer. Right? Whether you want to have a bit more foyer space or a bit lesser, but we will actually advise that, of course, this is the smallest one, correct? And then after that, you can consider buying from the smaller units up to the bigger unit. Depends on the availability, depends on your ballot ticket as well.
Why we are saying the smaller unit to the bigger unit, it's because if you look at the other plan, what C2S?
Yes.
Okay, why we are talking about the smaller unit to bigger unit? Because if you look at C2S and then you look at these three
C3,
layouts here,
Correct.
right? C3, C4, C5. It's really exact same thing. Whether the foyer is a no foyer, you walk in, you're in the house, or a smaller foyer with a bit of a privacy. Then the C4 is sort of looked in, and then C5 a bit of an L shape.
Correct.
Right?
I do see there's some buyers who like this kind of privacy corners as well, because why? Feng shui. They do not want the door open directly into the high rise, the floor.
Some privacy, some feng shui, so it's really up to you. But of course, because not considering other factors, just considering the money factor, then makes sense to go for the smallest unit and then when the smallest unit run out, because I think it's like, 9 units left?
9 units.
Only, right?
Yes, correct.
Yeah. So when the smallest unit run out, then you buy the next bigger, and the next bigger, and the next bigger.
Okay, that's right. Okay, so coming on to this C6, C7 layout for this 3-bedroom, this is a dual flex. As you can see, it's very unique. Apart from the foyer, it's a bit different in sizes, right? That separates them. But what you see is that it is having a 1-bedroom at the other end of the house itself, right? As you could see. And then this is the main living space, right? And then there's a dining and kitchen in the middle, open kitchenette. This is not an enclosed kitchen. So this is very, very unique because, for example, maybe you live with your parents, you live with your family members who one of them wants to have a private space by themselves. Teenagers are a gamer or something, or maybe like your parents who want to be in the same main family, want to be near but not so near, same but not so same also. This will be a perfect layout for them, right? And difference is between just the foyer only lah. Okay, but we'd like to look into deeper how we can actually look at the angle of this particular layout. So what can we do with this layout? Maybe you pay 3 to 4 million for your own self stay with this layout. I think that's very interesting. But what if we do something like a co-living?
Can do dual key now.
Actually, dual key is a bit hard. Why? Because I studied this before already. To do dual key, you must do this. Correct? Do a door here. Okay, you must do here and do here. Open a door here and open another door here. Correct. And you must spend a lot of money to do all this renovation. But I think more importantly, you see this shaded part. You know what is this? This is the aircon, right?
Oh.
Yes. So if you were to do a key where you close up over here, then the aircon is just going to blow in the passageway only. And it's very hard to enter this room. That's number one. Second thing, what happens here?
Your dining and your kitchen do not have aircon.
Correct. Because you see, the air don't really flow this way that efficiently. Can, right? But it's not efficient. So the problem will be here. So if you were to do a dual key, you close up the aircon within the place.
How about co-living, since it is, the in thing now?
I think co-living is something that can be considered.
Yes, correct. So you see, for co-living wise, this is how we would probably cut it out where the aircon still blows over here, right? So with all that has been mentioned just now, right? So I personally feel that this is more suitable for co-living, where the red one would be the original, the bigger unit, and then the blue one will be the smaller unit. And together, these 2 units will share a co-living space. So I think this is the best layout. And then for example, 1-bedder, these days, how much do you rent outside?
For about
4, sometimes you got 4, 5 as well, right? Yeah. But I guess that's also with a complete of a kitchen, which in this case, if you're renting this 1-bedroom, you get also access to this big
common area,
co-living space itself. So give and take, I think 4,000 is very reasonable in today's market. Not saying that 3 years later, we never know, the price will even go even higher. Now, also as well, this 2-bedroom with a living, with balcony plus the dining, I believe we can get somewhere around 5,500. Right, so we've all both add together 9,500, we are getting a yield of 3.6.
That's based on a purchase price of 3.168
million. Yeah, that's right. Okay. Now, of course, if you depends on individual. Some people say that if they
I don't want to deal with co-living.
Correct. Then yes, correct. Of course, then that kind you probably want to rent a 1 room yourself. But for this one, you get a much bigger space over here. I think that is the part that is very special for this unit. There is a draw point for this one.
Yeah, you have an option of making it into a co-living. If not, you can just rent out the entire 3-bedroom at 8,700 at a rental yield about 3.3%.
Correct. Correct.
Still quite a good deal, huh?
Yeah, quite good deal. Okay, so now move on to the other 2 layers of the 3-bedroom collection. We have C1P and then we have C2P. Both are 1152 square feet. And this layout is really, really special. Why? As you could see, just now we also learned about PVVC, correct? So you can see once the moment this 3-bedroom, the wall is removed, what will happen? Your living space starts to become bigger, correct? And you see this sliding door, glass door, that can enclose your kitchen. If you open it up, instantly the feeling would feel like a huge square. Right, so I'm sure your guests come, I'm sure when you live in the house, you will enjoy a layout like that. It's going to be super huge. Plus, not forgetting, you have also the balcony space.
The balcony looks huge. So I think the balcony, one main thing is it actually combines, or rather,
it spans across the living and one of the bedrooms.
Yes, correct. Then the most, whether you want to sell it as a 2-bedroom with a big living space, or if you want to sell it as a 3-bedroom, just put back a partition, it's not too expensive. The flexibility is there for these 2 layouts. And of course, you see this room, the door is over here, correct? You can also push the door out to here and convert this whole space into a master bedroom. Now, what does it mean? It means that maybe can this space be a wardrobe? Yeah, it could possible, right? It could be a place where you also become your study, can be where you put your baby as well, the baby cot there. Or if you want your baby to be a bit nearer to you in the room, you can also place your baby over here. So there's a lot of flexibility to this layout. Okay.
And I think in River Valley area, people, if they are buying 999 properties, they will probably enjoy a more spacious feel.
Definitely.
Right? So a bigger place for homestay lah. I mean, at least
Lifestyle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really the lifestyle.
Alright.
correct.
So this layout, I honestly feel that in River Valley, it's going to be very popular. And it's going to be quite rare also. Because people in River Valley, they really like this kind of space one.
And
Host friends.
Robertson,
Yes.
it's a lot more of hosting happening.
Yes.
Feel.
That feel of, hosting in my house, it's huge living space, the balcony. I think a lot of people will like it.
Okay, so for our top choice, we will actually have a C1P and also C2P. But of course, my preference will be C1P first. Why? Because C1P has external facing from the balcony and the bedrooms as well. And for the C2P, not too bad also. The layout is fantastic. Internal facing, still got the pool facing. And also later we see the external facing will be facing towards the UE Square, right? And then over here, we think there might be some nice, Canal River view later, right? But then hopefully we will have some views over here, but not as good as the outside external facing.
Because one of the main reason is over here, this is actually part of the commercial area. So once you have this layout overviewing this side, you have a very long view. However, members of public will be walking.
Correct. So maybe at a certain level, they don't see them.
Okay, so I think what he was saying is because the potential of C2P facing the open area, and then if we look beyond this development, it is actually where village residence at Robertson Quay is and the pier. So the both of them are flanking Robertson Opus, and then there's a potential that there could be a river view.
We summarize again for 3-bedders. We really want you guys to consider, if you like this project itself, to consider the smaller unit first, all the way to the largest, because 926, you do get nice 3-bedrooms, super efficient, and you have windows as well in the places that should have. Okay, and our thoughts about 3-bedders, there's only 29 units that are selling right now in the market. Of course, sometimes it will be more, sometimes it will be less.
So I think for the 3-bedroom itself, earlier we shared with you what's our top choice. Okay, so our main thoughts about this area is there is actually a very low supply of 3-bedrooms currently in the resale market. From our research at the moment of filming, actually there's only 29 units available, and I'm not removing any duplicates, so there might be some duplicates available in the market.
Yeah, which also means that the actual number available could even be low.
Could even be low, actually.
Yeah.
So this is makes it more attractive. You know that this area, there is a demand for own stay buyers. However, the supply is really low. Okay, so we can see from here the Avenue, Martin Place, Aspen High, a very old project, UV Square, and Rivergate. These are the supply that we need to understand in the area itself. So to see whether is there any resale potential in the future. So if it's an influx of supply, then hey, this area too much. But for here, there isn't much limited.
Yes.
I'm actually very excited about the profits of the older
3-bedroom, yes.
Yes.
So we will share a little bit with you. For UE Square itself, we can see the profit is actually over 1 million. It hits up to 2 million for the 3-bedroom units over there. So Rivergate, 2 million was the highest, 2.4 million actually. So when we want to look at this area, we know that the 3-bedroom resale actually got potential, and it's quite healthy in terms of the transaction over there. So even Avenue, Martin Modern, the newer one, you can see when I zoom in a little bit, you can see the highest actually went up to 700 to even $1 million. Okay, so these are our thoughts for 3-bedroom. You're looking for 3-bedroom, I think it's something that it was considering. All right. So let's move on to the 4-bedroom itself. So 4-bedroom is considered under the Legacy Collection, which means the full marble flooring all over the house, especially in the living room and the dining area itself. So this layout is actually one of my favorite. Why do I say so? Because the main door is actually over on the left side over here. 4-bedroom usually are for own stay buyers. And own stay buyers, when they go for 999, they are looking for lifestyle.
Yep.
Lifestyle meaning to say that they will definitely be doing quite a number of hosting and gathering, things like that. Once we step in the place, they actually do have a very nice view of the entire house. Why do I say that? Kitchen similarly to one of the 3-bedroom, we have the glass sliding door. So for this itself, when the owners walk into the place, right, they can actually have a very big view of the entire place itself. It enhances the feel of the place. Despite it being 1,005, actually it might feel a little bit even larger and better.
Yeah.
Okay, so 8 to 10 seater over on this side, and followed by a kitchen tucked away with a home shelter and a WC behind. So junior master on the right side, and once we head into this portion, you do realize that the bedroom 4 actually have access to the balcony area. This balcony spans across the living room and bedroom 4. Okay, so over on this side, the common bedroom 3 as well as the master bedroom. And not to forget, they do have a very nice walk-in wardrobe over on this side. So basically, what you need for a 4-bedroom, it's all there. So I mean, needless to say, definitely we have window across all the kitchen as well as the bathroom. So the main thought, similar to the 3-bedroom, we do feel that the 3-bedroom and 4-bedroom might be priced slightly a little bit higher in terms of the per square feet. But of course, right now we do not have any indication. No prices are out yet. But if you want to consider 4-bedroom for own stay and legacy planning, this is something that can be considered, because similarly to the 3-bedroom, we have a low supply. So right now, across the 4 developments that is around in the surrounding, only 12 units are available for sale actually. So with that in mind, right, you can actually stay and then call for a ridiculous asking price if you want to. But the thing is, we just have to wait for the correct buyer to
turn up. So
possible.
Because how it works is sort of like, if a listing gets sold,
Yeah.
then the next higher price law, then listing gets sold, the next higher price.
Just gotta be
easier when the supply that's up for sale is less. So you can call your price and then just wait a bit for someone to hit your price.
I mean, we have seen people in this area being able to afford that kind of pricing.
Yep.
So on this side, I can show you a little bit older project over on this Rivergate. A 4-bedroom itself, they are actually already transacting 5 to 6 million. The profit they are actually earning, it spends up to 2 over million.
2.288 million.
Okay.
Wow.
So this is Rivergate. Is a fairly old project. Okay, now over on this side, Martin Modern on the left, you can see on the left, similarly the transacted price is already 4 to 5 million.
Yep.
Okay, but do take note, Martin Modern is actually a 99 years lease property. So
Correct.
Robertson Opus is a 999 years lease. Okay, even a younger one, right, their profit actually can go up to 1.146. All right, and the next one, the Avenue over on this side, up to 1 million.
1 mil.
Okay,
So actually, if you want to know more, right, you can check with your agent, find out more about this, or if you have someone else to ask, you can also check with them about when is the launch date, when is the pricing, what is the best unit to look out for.
so I mean, in conclusion, I hope by watching this video, you actually have a better understanding of Robertson Opus,
Yep.
and of course their layout and what is the things that you need to consider. Okay, if you need any more information, or if you like to have a look, because the preview is happening on the 5th of July, okay, feel free to contact any of us. The contact will be there. And till then, see you next time. Bye.